Hi, I'm IKEA, and I'm here to give you only the tip. Hollywood global event. And as with all global events, first we have to toggle it on. We do this by going into the season menu, going into the event, and toggling it on with this toggle, activating the event, and letting us earn stars and work towards its challenges. Once we have turned on the global event, enemies will have this yellow shielding around them, and they will have a reduced incoming damage to them if they have the shielding up. But there are several ways to remove the shielding. The first one is to disrupt the enemy. That will just remove the shielding from all enemies disrupted. Another is shock, which will of course also just only remove the shielding. Moving on to things that actually make the shield explode, which is much more satisfying than just removing it. This includes all specialization weapons, as when you hit an enemy with it, their shield will explode off of them in a radius around them, hurting enemies nearby, like here, as it hurt his friends. And of course, removing the shield outright. Any enemy killed by a specialization weapon will do that little silly thing of freezing in motion for a second. And so will enemies that have died because of an explosive effect, which includes that man's backpack. And of course, all explosives will cause the same effect of the shields of the enemy exploding off of them, damaging nearby allies of them around them. And because of that, this very much is, to me, the golden bullet for explosive builds, as you gain, in effect, a ton of damage to any explosive build. And the extra explosion around them especially makes, if you can, door camp them, it makes it extra effective. And any enemy killed in a way that causes them to do that slow-mo effect, either by specialization weapon or explosives, will have an increased chance of dropping specialization ammo as well. Meaning that, in effect, this global event is very much about using explosive builds to me, and then also, together with that, having a ton of ammo for, in this case, the grenade launcher, but especially solo as well. You can run around with a flamethrower and pair it with tip of the spear, for instance. Although with this global event, I would especially say playing groups, as that works out quite well, as having one or two explosive builds to remove the shielding from enemies and do heavy damage, pairing that with either some support builds for them, and then a red as well, or just pairing them with strikers to mop up whatever remains, and the heavies, of course, that will not die to the explosives quite easily, is quite effective. As for instance here, we're doing that exact thing of having two explosive builds together with two red builds, mopping up whatever remains, and especially with some shenanigans as we have here, it can be very, very effective. And that is also very much my recommendation for this global event, as I see a lot of people just trying to power through and actually struggle through this global event by just running red builds. At the very least, put in a jammer pulse or EMP sticky, run the Elmo so you get some shocks, which will just remove the shields. Solo, you can go with either Hunter's Fury with the flamethrower, or a tip of the spear with the flamethrower, or just trying to utilize your specialization weapons in some ways. But you could also enjoy your way through this global event instead by going the Bollywood route of blowing everything up, just blow it all up to smithereens and beyond. And that can be very enjoyable, especially with a high-end mortar build, or with a hardwired seeker spam build, making this event actually very powerful for farming, although it does, in my opinion, really require a group, at the very least, of at least two people, one person running an explosive build and the other a red build, just to mop up the things that the explosive build can't. So yeah, thanks for watching, and this was only the tip.